So far, we've talked about gaming regulations and revenue reports available from the state of Nevada. These topics were based on official information from the state government. But that's not everything we have. There are also people like you. More specifically, there are people like you that have enjoyed Las Vegas so much that they started a podcast about it. I'll share a few of my favorite Las Vegas gambling podcasts, but in preparation for your next Las Vegas trip, start listening to them to learn a lot of tips and tricks from these Las Vegas experts. Each of these shows is more or less available anywhere you find podcasts. Some shows are former or current radio shows which distribute as a podcast, so again, look for them wherever you find podcasts. If you've never listened to a podcast before, you might wonder how to get started doing so. Here's how. There are a selection of podcast apps available out there. It just look on your phone if you are using your phone to listen to podcasts. On iPhones and iPads, you will find Apple Podcasts. On Android phones, you will find Google Podcasts. That's what you need to do to get started, or you can pay for an app, or you can use free ones, whatever your choice may be. Once you choose a way to listen to podcasts, just search for the following names: 500 by Midnight, Vegas Never Sleeps, 360 Vegas, You Can Bet on That, Gambling with an Edge, Vegas Confessions Podcast, Vital Vegas, and others. The longest-running Las Vegas podcast is 500 by Midnight, the original Las Vegas podcast. They've been at it since January of 2005, providing weekly episodes since then. At the time of this recording, they are up to episode 826. The hosts cover all things Las Vegas. Vegas Never Sleeps by Steve Maggi is a radio show now distributed as a podcast. He's been broadcasting since 2008. His one-hour weekly show is mostly thoughtful interviews with various Las Vegas entertainers and others. I was one of these other interviewees in March 2018. 360 Vegas is a popular podcast about all things Las Vegas. They try to host an annual meetup called 360 Vegas Vacation. The 2022 event is in mid-June and has Twitter hashtag 360VV11. Gambling podcast, You Can Bet on That, a podcast for the recreational gambler, is hosted by Mark and Dr. Mike. They have great chemistry and produce a fun and friendly show. While they are physically located in San Diego, they are very near Las Vegas and visit very often and talk about those trips. Gambling with an Edge is a weekly live radio show in Las Vegas, also distributed as podcast episodes. Its hosts are Bob Dancer and Richard Munchkin of video poker fame. They interview professional gamblers, authors, and casino insiders. Vegas Confessions Podcast is all about casinos and the gambling lifestyle. The three hosts often visit Las Vegas as well as Atlantic City. They cover Las Vegas topics as well as gambling superstitions, casino games, food reviews, trip reports, and more. And one of the best Las Vegas podcasts out there is Vital Vegas by Scott Robin. His blog, Twitter feed, and podcasts are incredible. He loves Las Vegas. On his podcast, you'll find essential Las Vegas news, tips, deals, and, as he says, WTF. In my opinion, out of all the Las Vegas podcasts I mentioned here, pick Vital Vegas. You won't regret it. None of these podcasts have paid me to promote them in this video. I like to listen to them and thought you might find them useful in preparing for your Las Vegas visit. Also, this is not a comprehensive list of Las Vegas podcasts. For instance, I haven't yet listened to Faces and Aces Las Vegas podcast. The podcasts I've mentioned here are merely those I've discovered and enjoyed over time. Heck, for all I know, you have a podcast about Las Vegas. Now, maybe you want to know what are some good money management tips for slots enthusiasts. In this playlist right here, I offer many practical tips. So if it's important to you to protect your bankroll in Las Vegas and elsewhere, you can click the playlist you see on your screen right now and get into how to make that happen. So click the playlist and I'll see you in the next one.